Welcome to the Steve Roger Phillips Self-Mastery Program. This is the first live video and I'm super happy to be broadcasting this to you. And I'm deeply grateful that you've taken the time to sign up and to get involved with this program. One of the other reasons why I'm grateful is because I know that it's going to create so much transformation. It's worked in my life, my clients' lives, my family, and my friends, and I know it's going to work for you too. So in this video, I'm just going to give you an overview of what we're going to do within the Mastery Program. Hopefully by now, you would have watched the foundation videos. You may have had a little look around the membership site. And now I'm just going to highlight some of the things that we're going to be covering, some of the exciting topics that we're going to be covering, and just giving a little bit of an overview and explaining how these are going to make such a difference in your life. So to start off, as you probably know already, the Self-Mastery Program encompasses the body, the mind, and the spirit, or the physical, the mental, emotional, and then the spiritual. So that's three fundamental. You would have heard this so many times. It's not a new thing, is it? The body, the mind, and the spirit. However, it depends how these are practiced and also put together in this unique formula, this unique blend that I've come up with throughout my journey is going to make a massive difference, because you may sometimes be working on the body, then another time be working on the mind, and another time on the spirit. But if you're working on them all together, it just makes this super powerful. It makes it a real fast and transformational process, which you can use at your own pace. Even, you know, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with just one step. So everybody's going to be in a different place that are starting this program right now. Some of you may be more evolved than others, and that's okay, because we start from where we're at and we take that one step. That's the main thing, taking that one step so that we're aiming to get that little bit better every time. And in doing that, all those little steps put together create this big transformation. And the main thing about it, you know, we talk about transformation. The main thing about transformation is that you get to live the life of your dreams. Now, the life of your dreams may still have challenges, and this is okay, because challenges are going to come up regardless of how evolved we are. There's many self-realized souls that have walked the planet, and they've actually had more, if not more, problems than the everyday Joe, like you and me, for example. And so it's not actually the amount of problems they have. In fact, sometimes the amount of problems we have can work out in the benefit, because the more problems that we have to solve, or the more challenges we have to go through, then the more cleansing this can be for our heart, and then the faster we can progress. So it can actually be, I've heard people saying, many evolved spiritual persons saying that when we get these challenges that come up, that actually they're blessings, it's mercy, it's blessings that's being showered down on us. So that's a different outlook to take upon challenges. But now, to stay on track, let's start with the body and what we're going to be doing with the body. So in the body, naturopathic nutrition. I'm a naturopathic nutritionist, and I've received a diploma in naturopathic nutrition. I use this with my clients often. One of the main reasons I use it is because I've tried so many nutritional processes in the past, like detoxification, when I was playing rugby semi-pro and for Wales at under 18s and university level. I had a lot of dietitians give me advice, for example. And then I went on to a detox clinic up in London. So we started working with high-class clients. Vogue, there was the editor of Vogue came in, etc. And so what I found through that process is that actually the detoxification process is a start, but then what you do as a maintenance diet going forward, because the thing is, if you detox, it's all well and good, but if you haven't detoxed properly initially, then you can fall back into your old cycles. But also you need something that's going to be maintenance, that you're going to be able to carry on and take forward in your life. So it's something that you can use on a daily basis. It's not like a fad diet that's going to happen. You're just going to do this fad diet, you're going to lose your weight, or you're going to get your optimum health, and then you're going to go back to eating junk food. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is make lifestyle changes which are going to work long term. So So the naturopathic nutrition approach, there's 3 primary focuses. The first one is hydration. And if you would have watched the foundation videos, you would have already seen that hydration is vitally important for us. There's a cracking book, which I highlighted there, which is called Your Body's Many Cries for Water by Dr. Batman Geliji. And he highlights in this book how important hydration is for us to achieve optimum health, because he started treating his clients with just water. And instead of prescribing medications, he was a doctor, and as the clients were coming in with him, he started prescribing just water to the clients. And guess what? They started getting results. So that's what he started doing, and he continued to do, but he documented his journey and he put it in this book. So if you don't have the faith about hydration being so important, I would recommend that book. However, that's one of the first things we implement, making sure that people are having 4 pints of clean drinking water, filtered ideally. Maybe there's a house filter, then it's bottled water. Spring water is even better again. So it's going for the best option. Like I said earlier, it's going for the best option for you. So if you're drinking tap water right now, then a Brita filter water would be better than tap water, for example. Or if you're on a Brita filter right now, then maybe consider having a house filter or a tabletop filter. Tabletop filters can be Eva filters. They've changed their name now, but Eva filters, tabletop filters, they're pretty good as well. And then from that, then you can have bottled water and then spring water, you know. So it goes up in those levels, but just going for the next best thing for you. Number 2 is alkalizing your diet and cleaning your diet up. So this is number 2. It also comes in number 1 sometimes, especially when I'm working people on a one-to-one basis. Now, I'll be doing further videos. I'm just skimming over these for the purpose of this video, this introduction video. But I will be going into much more detail in these in future videos. So there's no need to get overwhelmed. We'll be going in and breaking this down step by step to make it such an easy process for you. So alkalizing the diet and cleaning the diet up. So our bodies are 7.3 pH, and that in general, some places are higher, some places are lower. However, in general, in order to keep homeostasis within the body, we need 7.3 pH. Now, if you can imagine, if you're drinking and eating a lot of acidic foods, then the body needs to buffer that acidity with alkalinity. So that comes from things like calcium, magnesium, the minerals within the body. So if we don't have enough minerals within the body, then it starts going to the bones. So then we start getting bone problems. We can start getting arthritis. So many other problems can come from that initial acidity. So one thing to do is to, first of all, eliminate the acidity from the body. So taking things like coffee and red meats, even white meats, because meats in general, a plant-based diet is much more alkaline in general. And of course, I hear you saying that a lot of unhealthy vegans and vegetarians out there. Of course they are, and some of them are on an acidic diet as well. So it's the obvious things like the fried foods, the cakes, the processed foods, those generally the acidic things. And then of course, when you start getting into the alkaline foods, it's the salads, the vegetables, the smoothies, the juices, the things which you would imagine are alkaline or are healthy for us. So when we start inputting those things into our body, we stop the craving naturally for the acidic things. I work with clients on a daily basis around this, and it's not about taking other things out. It's about putting these things in. So if we put the very alkaline foods in, then naturally the acidic foods, the taste for the acidic foods goes, because as within, so without. So if your body is alkaline internally, then you're going to crave alkaline foods. If your body is acidic internally, you're going to crave acidic foods. So coffee, for example, is 4 on the pH scale. So, and then a juice is very alkaline. I don't know exactly what it is, and it depends which one it is. Of course, going from lots of like fruit juices, like even orange juice is acidic, for example. So you need to know what juices are going in. But as you go like from root vegetables, for example, and then work your way up to a green juice. So add in more vegetables and then more green vegetables. And the green juices then are generally the more healthy for us and the more alkalizing. So number 3 on the naturopathic nutrition approach is supplementation and taking a look as well at the environmental stuff that's going on for you, because sometimes you can be doing step 1 and step 2, and even part of step 3 you can be doing the supplementation, but there's still, you're not still breaking through those health problems, those issues that are coming up for you. So there can be, especially these days, even more so than the past, environmental toxins, the things like electromagnetic radiation from cell phone towers or mobile phone towers in the UK, that's what we call them. And these could be put out outside people's houses, flats. Then, of course, there's Wi-Fi within houses. They can be in sleeping places, mobile phones. So many different things environmentally can affect us. There can be air pollution. There can be toxicity within the air, for example. If we're living in a circumstance like that, then if we've done all the other processes and we're still struggling, then we would suggest considering moving. But it's not a necessity. Usually when you've done the first few processes, then your health is in a good enough state to be able to handle the environmental toxins. Because the thing is, when environmental toxins start to affect us, it's usually our bodies have broken down and we're already in a chronic state of health. We should be able to deal with these toxins, especially the environmental toxins. However, if we've got too toxic internally in our bodies, then they also start to affect us. So that's the 1, 2, and 3 of the natural. So just to go over the naturopathic nutrition approach, that's the hydration is number 1 for the body. And then number 2 is the alkalizing diet and cleaning it up. And then, of course, number 3 is the supplementation and taking a look at the environment, taking a look what's the optimum environment for you. So that's the body. And of course, like I said, we're going to be covering that in much more detail in further videos. Number 2, the mind. Okay, so with the mind, neural breakthrough is something that I'm really, really passionate about. This is something that I use also with my clients on a one-to-one basis because, again, like I said earlier, you could have everything sorted on the nutritional level. You could be covering every base, but then there's still something tripping you up with your health or your well-being or your mind, for example. So then you've got to start looking a little bit deeper. You've got to start thinking, right, okay, what's going on? Because there's a mind and there's a body connection. This has been proven scientifically now. So if we've got negative thought processes or patterns within our mind, that can then affect us on a physical level. So we look at that on a one-to-one basis, but we'll also be doing that within these programs. Within these videos, I'll be offering you meditations and talks where I'll help you to get to those things, to really uproot those things that have been stuck in there for possibly a long time. Could be weeks, could be months, could be years, however long it is. Usually it stems back to childhood between 0 and 7, because that's the imprinting age where if a highly emotive event has happened, then it can really trip us up in the future. If we haven't dealt with it, if we haven't processed it and got that emotion out, it gets stuck within our bodies. So this is what neural breakthrough helps with. Neural breakthrough helps to release that emotion, get it out there, so it doesn't come back again. Now, this is a really, really powerful process, and I've coined it neural breakthrough. So the first part of that I've already gone into. It's sourcing the root of the problem. So it's finding where it's come from. It's finding who said that thing, who's created that emotive event when you were a child. Somebody may have shouted at you, may have been really angry with you. I had a client the other day where people were being overly kind to her because she was on a machine, being fed by a machine. Then people were being overly kind to her, so that had a negative imprint on her. And then she didn't want to make a fuss for anybody else in the future, for example. So these things, which we may think are small, may think are big at the time, but if they're not dealt with, they can cause so many negative things in the future. So we clean them up and then let it go. That's the next process of it. Number 2, which is letting it go. And we'll do that through meditations. And then number 3 is, of course, replacing it with a new positive pattern. So the new positive pattern, say if the old one was fear, then the new one is love, for example, or the old one is lack of self-worth and lack of confidence. The new one is confidence. So we're getting rid of the old and replacing it with the new. Like, there's so many studies now about the plasticity of the mind. Our minds are malleable. We can change them. They're not set in stone as we previously thought, because we thought that different conditioning we have from our ancestors, from our parents, grandparents, etc. We don't have to believe that now. Actually, there's some of it is true, and we do pick up some stuff, but there's a lot of it that can be changed, a lot. So that's what we're going to work on, and replacing it with the past. So how does that sound? I'm hoping that sounds awesome, because I love this side of it. This is one of my favorite parts of it. Of course, I love it all, but this is my favorite part of the program. Same favorite, maybe maybe the next favorite is coming up, which is number 3, which is the spirit. So we've already covered the mind, which is the body, which is the naturopathic nutrition. Number 1, hydration, then alkalizing the diet and cleaning up. Number 3, supplementation and checking out the environment. And then, of course, there's the mind, which is the neural breakthrough. So sourcing the root of the problem, and then of course cleaning that up and letting it go, and number 3, replacing it with a new pattern. Number 3 is the spirit. So there's 4 principles in this. So there's 10 altogether. So there's 4 principles to spiritual success. And number 1 is very simple. Everybody's heard the term cleanliness is next to godliness. So number 1 is cleanliness, and this can mean cleanliness on many different levels. It can mean on the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. And things like, for example, sleeping around, or not bathing every day. Like, we should be showering every day, for example, just because water is so purifying. Washing after clients, even, because if you're a therapist, you'll know that sometimes you pick up things from clients, and if you have a shower, if you have a wash after that, water is very purifying. It can get rid of anything you may have picked up from your therapies, for example. So cleanliness is something that we'll delve into a little bit further and get a little bit deeper with it philosophically in future videos as well. Number 2 for the 4 principles to spiritual success is peace. Now, I'm sure you could do with a little bit more peace in your life, right? Me too. Everybody these days, right? Is like, of course, we can always improve our peace as well, and our harmony and our balance. And this is what I love about this process, about the self-mastery process, is naturally, organically, as we go through it, we start to gain more peace, balance, and harmony. So peace can come from, say if we're taking a lot of stimulants, for example. So this marries up with the physical. So if we're taking on board a lot of stimulants, coffee, alcohol, drugs, prescription drugs, whatever it is, then that can have a massive effect on our peace, on how peaceful we are within our mind. So this is what we're going to be covering. We're going to be covering how to put better things in. So if you're taking a stimulant because you're feeling tired, for example, then it's putting a green juice in, for example, or putting a wheatgrass shot in, or looking for the green tea instead of coffee. Is a much better option because it's packed full of antioxidants. Even though it's still got the caffeine, it's got a better balance. So it's things like that we're going to be covering, which will help you to gain much more peace within your mind. And I don't know about you, but I love to gain more peace. Always, we can delve deeper into that, deeper into the peace, harmony, and balance. And number 3 of the 4 keys to spiritual success is honesty. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with muscle testing. You can put pressure on your arm like this and have somebody to help you. You could, for example, you can do it on yourself by just clasping your fingers like this, holding them tight together, and then asking something truthful, like, for example, my name is Steve. That's solid. It's not going anywhere. My name is Frank. It's weak, and I'm not doing that any harder or anything. It's just I'm not, my name is Frank. It's not my name is Steve. And then you can do it with your age and stuff, for example. So give that a go and say something truthful, and then say something that's untruthful. the purpose of this, if that doesn't work, then you can get practitioners which can work with you and can do muscle testing on you. You can get in touch with me, even I can put you in touch with somebody as well that can help you with that. So muscle testing proves that untruthfulness is not good for us. So every time we're telling a lie, even if it's to ourselves, little white lies, our body goes weak. Our body goes weak, and it hasn't got any strength in it. So if we're honest and integral internally, then that also comes out externally. Gandhi's got a brilliant quote about that, and it's about like when things marry up, when the internal marries up with the external, then we achieve maximum peace and harmony, if you like. So that's what it's about. It's about starting to be more honest, not so much with other people. Even it starts with ourselves. It starts within our own mind, to be honest with ourselves. So number 4 is compassion. So you get many people that are talking about peace within their mind and stuff, but then they're not actually performing compassionate acts. For example, you know, if we're eating animals, for example, that's a good example. If we're eating animals which have been to the slaughterhouse, then they're full of fear, and they've also been through a negative process. Obviously, they've been killed so that we can eat them. So if we're then ingesting those animals, then that fear, we're actually taking that fear on board into our bodies. So when you start to eat a more plant-based diet, then there's obviously less fear, because plants don't have a nervous system. So when we uproot a plant from a tree or pick a fruit, for example, then it doesn't necessarily hold the amount of fear that the animals feel when they go into slaughter. So that's a simple example. But then it's non-violence isn't just about that. Non-violence or compassion is about being kind to ourselves, being kind to our partners, being kind to our children, our loved ones. And of course, we're going to trip up and we're going to mess up along this journey. But it's about doing the best we can at that time. And also, it's very humbling, isn't it, to say sorry. So if we have done something which is bad to somebody else, then we can say sorry and beg them or ask them for their forgiveness. And then when they give them forgiveness, is so powerful, and we'll be using a lot of forgiveness throughout this process as well. So it doesn't matter, as you can see. So with the spirit, the 4 principles of success, just to highlight, is cleanliness, number 1. Number 2 is peace, and number 3 is honesty, and then number 4 is compassion. So I hope you've got a comprehensive view of what this self-mastery is a process about. It's not some flowery mind, body, spirit thing. This is serious. It's serious, but yet very simple. It's very simple to implement, and you're going to be having my support, because we're going to be doing these videos, these live videos weekly, where you can ask questions, you can post comments, and then I'll be addressing them either in future videos, if we've got time, on air live. So I'm really looking forward to connecting with you in future videos, and to seeing what questions and comments you've got, any hang-ups you've got at the moment. And at the end of my presentation, I'll be opening up for questions, and I'm really looking forward. And I may even just do Q&A, just do one-off Q&A ones as well, but let's see how it goes. For now, I'd like to get this process out there, the body, the mind, and the spirit, through the 10 principles that I've just outlined. You've already got a foundation in place now, and I'm looking forward to getting into the rest of the videos. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and if you've got any comments or questions, by all means, drop me an email. That's steve@steverogerphillips.co.uk. So steve@steverogerphillips.co.uk. If you have any questions from this video, please, by all means, drop me them in an email, and I may answer them on the email, or I may answer them in a future video. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just an overview, so there's not so much to work with yet. Of course, you've got some tips, you've got some things to go away with, like the hydration, the 4 pints of water a day, for example, cleaning up the diet. You can start to implement things, but we'll be going into a lot more depth as we go along the process. Welcome to the Inner Circle, and I'm looking forward to sharing a lot more of these packed videos full of content and juicy information and valuable stuff that you can use in your life to improve your relationships, your jobs, your careers, and of course, your wealth and your happiness. So this is the main thing, right? We all want to be happier. I don't know, do you want to be happier? I'm guessing, because most of us want to be happier. It's just sometimes we don't know what to do in order to get there. But this process is tried and tested. There's lots of ancient principles within it that come from the East, especially the spiritual aspect of it. Actually, the body and the mind, the body, mind, and the spirit, it's got packed with the Chinese traditional medicine approach is what we use a lot of the naturopathic nutrition. So we'll tap into that. There's the Vedic system. I spent a couple of years in Hare Krishna temple, for example. So I've learned a lot about the Vedic science. I'm still learning every day, of course, but I've learned a lot about that, which we'll be bringing in with the spiritual aspect. And of course, the mind is so powerful, and we're only just starting to tap into that. So the further you get into that, the more you'll realize that goal setting and cleaning up our thoughts, for example, and stopping to feed the negative and starting to feed the positive and give energy to the positive ones and not give so much energy to the negative ones, then we can start to really transform our lives. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I really am going to check out now, and I really look forward to seeing you in future videos. So Hare Krishna, Namaste.